Welcome everyone to the third chapter of the Power Apps for Beginners course. So in this video, we're going to be covering galleries and how you can work with them. We're going to start off with adding a gallery. We're going to look at how we can add more columns in a gallery, how to delete items from a gallery, and also how to submit a new item so that it shows up in a gallery. By the way, this video kind of builds on the previous video, as the submission part here, the last part, is using forms. So if you haven't seen the previous video, I strongly recommend that you check it out. A link to it will be in the description down below. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and enjoy. So before we start working with the gallery, let's go ahead and clean up our workspace. Just empty everything like that. And then we can go back to the SharePoint site here. And as you can see, there's another list here called chocolates. And this list is basically the same kind of list as the Christmas party. By the way, if you've missed this part, it's from the previous video where I show you how to create a list like that. Otherwise, this is just a basic SharePoint list. And then we go back to chocolates here. I'm just going to show you. It's a list with data that I've filled up and different columns. You have choice columns, image columns, and then a bunch of text columns, as you can see. And this is what we're going to be using in our lesson today. So let's go back to the app. And then from the insert button here, we can go ahead and choose vertical gallery. And you can see here right away that the gallery wants to connect to one of our tables, but we have the Christmas party table, but we don't have the chocolate table. So we need to add that again. Now to do that, we just go to the data field here, or the data button, and then add data. Search for SharePoint. YouTube site is the name of our site. And then select chocolates and then connect. Done, it's added here. Now we click on the gallery again, and then we can choose chocolates. And then you can see here that the gallery has been automatically populated with all of our data from the site here, which is really nice. It saves us some time and it gives us kind of a starting point that we can work our way from. Now, to show you how this works, let's go ahead and save first. Just a quick demo of what's, comes out of the box, so to say, and then preview. You can see here that we can scroll and see all of our different chocolates. We can select these different fields, as you can see, and then it gets, the text becomes bold basically, and then we get this line here. And then we also have these different buttons, but they don't really do much. But I'm going to show you what we can do with them later. Now, if we just go ahead and select the whole gallery, and then look here to the right in the properties section, we can see here a bunch of different things. First off, we have the data source, but we have that already selected, but you can change it from here if you wish to do so in the future. And then we have layout. And here are the different layouts that you can use, kind of the layout templates, I would call them, because we can add more fields, which is what we're going to do in a minute. But here are different kinds of layouts that we can use. We can choose image and title and see how it looks like this. And then you can see here that we have also different kinds of galleries, also basically different layouts look like that. So you can, come in and play around with this if you want. But for the purpose of this video, we can just go ahead and take image, title, and subtitle, which will give us this. Now, if you want to alter basically, every item in the gallery, you don't have to go through each and every item. What you would do is that you would select the first item here, and then whatever change you do to this item will be reflected in the rest of the gallery. So watch this. If we start moving this one around, you can see that all other fields of the same type start moving around as well. Same thing with this one. Same concept. Make the image a little bit bigger here as well. And this is super useful for us because we would like to kind of change a little bit the design of the gallery. So let's go ahead and make this smaller so we can fit more stuff up here. This. Something like that. We can make the items smaller, by the way, by using this feature. This makes them smaller, more compact. And then we can make just the gallery so it fits the whole screen. Oh, yeah, the names are too close to each other. This. And then we make the name field a little bit, because you can see here that some other items here have longer names, just to make sure. Now, as you can see here, if we look at just the text field here in the function, we can see how the value of this field is brought into the gallery. And that is by using this item dot. So what if we want to bring in another field in the gallery? So if we go back to our chocolates here, what if we want to bring in distribution? How do we do that? Well, we can simply do that by marking the first item like this. And then we can go here, or you can do it from the insert. Doesn't matter, but we can drag a text label and then add it here. You see how it gets marked. Add a text label here. Wow. And it even figured out, I don't know if it heard me or what, but it figured out that it's going to be distribution. And we can make it like this. And now you can see here, this one doesn't have distribution because, yeah, it's the value there is empty. So that's how that looked like. So you'll not get like none or, you know, some error. It will just be empty. Now, what if we want to do the same thing with description? Drag another field, text label. And it added the description as well. Now, if it doesn't do this automatically, by the way, or if you want it to display a different field, you just add the text label here, for example, and then in the function section here, you can just write this item dot, and then you can see here all the kind of all the columns in the list that we have. You can even see some hidden columns here, ID columns and so on. But the one that we're looking for is description. So if we select description here, for example, then you can see that the description shows up. And by the way, just as I showed in the first video, or rather the second video, I believe, we can make this a little bit bigger. Actually, we can. There we go. Now it looks better. You can mess around here with the CSS or the styling of this. So for example, the description should be maybe bold. You can see it becomes bold for all of them. This can be bold, so on. So it is that easy to display data with gallery. See, and we can see here all the items, by the way. That's why the scrolling disappeared. Cool. Now, of course, if you were to show this to an end user, they would be like, okay, why is there countries here? What's Nestle and what is this and so on. So we can go ahead and add kind of a header like we have here to make things more understandable, so to say. And of course, there is, when it comes to galleries at least, there is no kind of default way where we can, you know, press a button and then it would just display them. So we will have to do that, quote unquote, manually. And we can do that simply by doing some of this. We can add like this rectangle here. We can make a dark blue. This. And then we can start dragging fields. We can put this one here. Change the first of all, we need to bring it front, and then we change the text color to white, make it more visible. This one a little bit like this. Picture. Copy paste. Then here we can say name. Manufacturer, something like this. I hope I spelled it right. And then distribution. And lastly, description. Okay. Something like this. We can just mark. We can go ahead and get everything here. Let's move it up. This. The gallery up. Save. Play or preview. And then look at that. Not so difficult. You just need to have the list and then connect the data with the gallery. And then if you want to add more fields, you can do that as well. Now, the next thing that we're going to look at is what you can do if you have a gallery that does not have enough space for all the columns that you want to insert. So basically, let's say that the list that we have here has a bunch of columns, right? It has like 10 more columns. And you cannot fit all of those columns in here because it will get crowded. You'll not be able to read, the text and so on. So what can you do then? Well, what you can do is that we can actually use this button to send us to another screen where we can see all the data from each item, sorted and put together in a nice way. Now, how do we do that? Well, we can start off by going to our second screen. We can remove the success sign. This is from the previous video. And we can start off by dropping just a text label, just one. Let me show you. Can make it a little bit bigger here. Okay. So now we go back to our first screen. And then in this button, we can add the logic that we need. So what this button is going to do is that, first of all, it's going to send us to the second screen. And then when it does that, it needs to take all the data of this item with it somehow. And even though this might sound complicated, it's actually quite easy to implement. So what we need to do is that we need to create something called a variable. And to do that, you write this logic in the function field. Set, which basically means set, you create a variable and then you decide its value. And you can see here, set variable and then value. So the variable name can be anything, but let's make it something relevant like var item, for example, and then comma. So we just follow what it says here. And here you can see that it even guides us and gives us suggestions to what this is. Value, any Power Apps value, including a number, text, record table, and so on. But the value that we want, we already actually have it, right? So if we clicked on this, we have what we want here. It's all stored in this item, right? So this item.description, this item.title, and so on. So then what we can do is just set this item to this variable. So var item should be the same as this item. Var item is the same as this item. Maybe, I wonder if the name's going to confuse people. A var, let's call it var full item, like this. Maybe it's less confusing. Select parent, we can just leave it. So do that, and then we close. So we do this. And the next, so that's, by the way, that's all the logic that you will need to kind of wrap and collect all the data that you want for this specific task. And then next, we just need to add the navigate to the next screen. So we do that. Go Go down, navigate, and it suggests it for us here. And then here, target is the second screen, so just second. By the way, we went through this in the previous video as well, if you missed it. And then we can just close it. We just need to send us to the second screen, nothing special, and then close. And that's really all the logic that you need for this part. Okay. Then we can just do this, click on that so it goes up. You can save real quick. It's always good to save. And then we can go to the second screen. And then now that we have the text field here, we need to decide what this text should be. So right now it's text, it's a default like static value. We need to set it something dynamic. So we have our variable, right? So var full item, and it suggests it for us. And then when we hit dot here, we can see that it has all the fields that we have in the previous screen, right? Name, title, product name, and so on and so forth. So let's just do the description for now. Easiest one. Let's do like this, description. And then we can see here that it's empty because it has no value right now. See, no value. That's okay. And just save. And then go back to first screen. And then we can start the app from here. So preview the app. And then if we click on the button here, boom, frothy chocolate with bubbles. So we can see here that it works. Now, one thing that we missed here is to add a back button. Otherwise, we're going to have to, close the app and then start it again. So we can just do it super easily. We can just add a button here and put it here and call it back. It's like this, back. It can stay blue. We don't have to style it. And then on select, when we select it, what should it do? It should navigate. So it takes us to the first screen. And by the way, it's called first because we named it first here. This name or this text has to be the same as the text of, whatever screen you choose to work. And then we close and then we save. Go back to the first screen, start the app. Okay. Frothy chocolate with bubbles. Cool. Okay, back. Nice. What if we try this one? Honeycomb, crunchy, peanut butter, and milk chocolate. Look at that. Nice. And then, you can keep doing this as much as you want. But basically, that's kind of the logic that you need, right? That's what you need to know in order to add this functionality. And then, of course, you can keep building on it. So let's put this here. We can put it in something like this, rectangle. You can get creative with the design part here. This. Put text in here and then just order, bring to the front. Something like that can make this one great. Then you can add another text label on top of it, like description. You can work on the design, make this one a little bit bigger. Descriptions are usually big, something like that. We're gonna go. There's a whole video dedicated for the design part later, how to make apps look good. I believe in the next video, we're going to be going through responsive design, which is basically how we make sure that the app can fit and look good on all kinds of screens so that you don't have to design the app to look good on, for example, phones, but then it looks bad on a normal computer screen. And what I mean is, so if we save it, just go to preview here. Let's go back to this screen. See, this screen looks good on the web, right? But if we, for example, do phone and then do iPhone 11, see, it looks horrible. Basically, it's not usable. So we're going to look at design, responsive design, so that, the app looks good no matter where we use it. And that's an important one. So make sure to subscribe and like the video, but mainly subscribe so that you get notified, or at least it shows up in your feed next time I publish a video, and then when that video comes out, basically. Cool. So now let's take a look at another thing that I want to add that is, really easy to do is delete. So what if we want to delete an item here? How hard can it be to delete an item without having to go into the list and then, we have to delete it from here? Actually, it's really, really, really easy. what we need to do is basically we can start off by just moving names a little bit here. Picture. This a little bit. And then here we can add another item in icons. We can just search for delete. What do we get? Okay, what if we search for trash? Okay, trash. Trash is good. Trash icon. Then we need, oh, sorry. Right. So if we just insert it here, it would be like on top of it, like this. It will not go into every item. So what we need to do is, let's delete this. We need to select the first part, and then we need to insert trash. We do like this, and then it's inserted. Boom. So once again, select, don't select like an item like this, and not the whole gallery. You need to select the first item, the first field. It looks like this. And then you insert whatever you want, and then it will show up there. And then here, up in the onSelect function, yeah, 2 new rows. And all we need to add here is just remove the function. Okay. Open the bracket. And then see here, it says collection and item. Collection in this case is chocolates. You see here, it has a suggestion. You can take it like this, comma, item. And in this case, it's this item. It's also, once again, the first suggestion. Collection, this item, close. And close. That's it. Now we save. Play. Oh, let's go back to browser for now. And let's try this. So what if I click on delete here? Now, by the way, let's see. We're going to do it with the almond joy. We can see that the almond joy is here. Let's refresh. And we still have it, almond joy. We delete this. Click on delete. Almond joy is gone from the list. Go back to the data source, and then we reload. And the almond joy is gone from this list as well. See? It's that easy. And that is also what low code is all about. You write a little bit of code and you get a lot of functionality. Now, next, and really the last thing that we're going to see in this video is something that I've showed you in the previous video, and that is forms. So what if we want to create a new item, right? So now we have delete, we have view, we can see the item. What if we want to create a new item? This is a refresher course, or sort of refresher part in this video. If you have seen the previous video, then you don't have to watch this because we've gone through it in the previous video. But I just want to show you how, the knowledge that you learn from these videos, that you can put them together and then you can create something awesome. So to do this, it's really easy. We can just take a button here for now. We can put it here, make it a little bit smaller, like this, maybe something like that. New, you can see it's new, something like that. And then we can have, if you go back to our tree view, we can make a new screen. Let's rename this screen. We can call it new item screen. And then we can real quick in the onSelect, we click on the button, onSelect, navigate to new item, this, just so that we can have this part done. We'll test it real quick. It works, nice. And then here we can just add a form. Select. And then here we need to, or form, actually we have it here, edit form. Take edit form, connect data, and then select Christmas, or sorry, Christmas, what am I saying? Chocolate. We select chocolate. We can also select it from here. Chocolate. It's gonna load, and boom. Here we have our chocolate form. And then we can add a text here, just an indicative text, something like this. Say new item. Call it new chocolate. can make it 25. Bigger center, something like this. Once again, design doesn't matter much in this video. Attachment is not needed. It's like a default field in SharePoint. We don't need it in this case. We can just click on it and then click on delete on our keyboard. This, deleted, cool. And then here we have a bunch of columns. We have 3 columns here. By the way, once again, I've gone through this in detail in the previous video, but we can just make it here 2 columns, see how it looks. Okay, it looks a little bit better. We can keep it like this. And then we can have, or we need actually to add a button for submit. This, submit, text like this, and then on select submit form. And then the form's name, which is, I think it's called form 1, right? By default, they're always called, yep, form 1. So the form's name here, we can also see it, by the way, screen here, form 1. So button, submit form 1, this, and that's it. That's all the code that we need to create a new item. Save. Oh, and then also let's add navigate to first screen so that we're not stuck on this screen. So navigate, so it takes us back like this. First, that's it. Save. Cool. Now let's test out our app that we have built now. We can go to the first screen here, and then we can go to preview. We have the app. So we can visit an item. We can see the description here. Like I said, we can add more fields if you want. We can go back. We can delete. We do not want the 5th Avenue anymore. Delete, it's gone. 5th Avenue is going to be gone from here as well. Takes a delay. Now it's gone. Yeah, sometimes it takes a second. And now we can also add a new item. So hover over new, click on new. Yes, I forgot that we need to add one more thing to this form. And that is here. We need to select the properties here, and then we need to go to item. We need to add something called defaults. Defaults like this, and then chocolates. Basically, you can have it like this. Yeah, you just need to add defaults just so that it tells us that we need to add the default, default record, default values. You can just save it. Now it's going to show up. So once again, first, preview, new, there they are, title, Marcus Chocolate, my own chocolate. We can add a picture if we want, product name, it's another field, the special chocolate, distribution, it's only sold in Sweden, it's by Mars, great chocolate. Something like this, submit. And then we see that we have it here at the bottom, Marcus Chocolate, Mars, Sweden, great chocolate. And then if we go back to our database here, we reload. We have our chocolate here. Our chocolate without a picture because we haven't designed it yet. But it's going to be a good chocolate. Cool. But yeah. So that is going to be it for this video. Once again, this is, basics when it comes to galleries. Of course, we can add a lot more cool stuff here, like, for example, edit, the edit functionality. So what are you going to do if you want to change this from, from Nestle to Mars? You can do that as well, but it's a little bit more complicated. So I'm going to be saving this to another video down the road. The idea with these videos is that it's going to start off with the super basics, and then we're going to, learn the basics, and then build on top of each video. And then, the difficulty will be increasing a little bit in each and every video, but it's going to, it's going to increase a little bit in each and every video. And by the end, we're going to know everything that we need to know in order to create a great Power App. So make sure to, once again, like the video if you learned something and not just hear me babble, and make sure to subscribe to the channel as it both of those things really helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to see also more videos of the channel, then yeah, make sure to subscribe and then hit the bell icon. That's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.